ABC Listen. Podcasts, radio, news, music and more.
With the polls in the US neck and neck, just 2 weeks out from the election, money talks. And the richest man in the world, Elon Musk, is throwing it around for Donald Trump, even offering million-dollar cheques to would-be swing voters. Today, Vittoria Elliot from Wired on why Musk is so desperate for Trump to win. I'm Sam Hawley on Gadigal land in Sydney. This is ABC News Daily. Vittoria, we better start our discussion in Pennsylvania, where a couple of Saturdays ago, of course, Elon Musk turned up at a rally with Donald Trump.
Where is he? Come on up here, Elon. Come here. Take over, Elon. Just take over.
As you can see, I'm not just MAGA, I'm dark MAGA.
And you were there. Just set the scene for me.
Yeah, well, to give you sort of an understanding, Butler is a pretty small rural town. It's about an hour outside of Pittsburgh, which is in western Pennsylvania. And the thing about Butler is that is where in July there was an assassination attempt on Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. The assassin's bullet grazed his ear. There was that very powerful photo of him with blood sort of streaming down his face, which was then printed actually on a lot of T-shirts that I saw at the rally.
Oh my gosh.
And so this was sort of a triumphant return for Trump. So coming to Butler, and particularly coming with Musk on top of that, was a real statement.
We had one president who couldn't climb a flight of stairs, and another who was fist pumping after getting shot. Fight, fight, fight!
People were very excited to see him, and they were really, really receptive when he was on stage. It was very clear that a lot of people were very excited to see someone who really is very famous, who has this reputation, whether well-earned or not, of being an incredible innovator, be on side with them.
Just tell me, so Musk gets on stage and he addresses the crowd. So what's he telling them?
The biggest thing is the emphasis on getting out the vote. There was so much emphasis on early voting, on mail-in voting, on checking if you're registered, and that was the big theme. And so Musk came on, and Musk hammered that home.
So I have one ask, this one request. It's very important. Register to vote. If they don't, this will be the last election. That's my prediction. Nothing's more important. Nothing's more important.
And the biggest thing that I think is important to also understand about Musk is that he has spent months on X, formerly Twitter, pushing misinformation about the fact that Democrats want to allow illegal immigrants to vote, which is not possible and is not what is happening. But that has been his line. And he stood up at the rally and also made similar allegations to the ones that he has spread publicly on X for several months as well, trying to motivate people to get out the vote.
You did speak to members of the crowd. So what did they think of all of that once it was over?
Oh, they were thrilled. Everyone was so happy that Musk was there.
Elon, I've been a huge fan for probably over a decade.
I would have gone either way, but it was definitely interesting having him here. I am a big fan.
Yeah, I like Elon too.
Yes, and Trump, and Vance.
The thing that I noticed from a lot of the Trump supporters at this rally is this sort of sense of well, Elon has been critical of Donald Trump in the past. Mm-hmm. He has made comments about him, but it kind of doesn't matter because now he's on the same side. Now he's one of us. Now he's changed his mind, and they were thrilled about it. Yeah. And they really admire him.
It's surprising to see him come over to the Republican Party. I think that Elon is going to be huge for our future. I mean, he's going to single-handedly save democracy.
I'm just happy that he is taking a stand for freedom of speech, and I'm really happy that he's encouraging people to get out and vote because it's that important.
Not so long ago, Elon Musk called Donald Trump a stone-cold loser So, yeah, it's been a progression, all right. He used to actually support the Democrats, didn't he?
He did. And I mean, for a long time, Musk has, like many business people in the US, donated to both parties or candidates of both parties. And he definitely in 2015 said it would be embarrassing if Trump was the nominee. He expressed concern about a Trump administration. Elon Musk has been very clear, even in his promotion of Trump as a candidate, that he doesn't agree with him on everything, but that he fundamentally backs him for reasons around business and innovation. And Elon Musk founded Tesla, which obviously was really well received by Democrats and environmentalists, this sort of, standard bearer for moving towards green energy. Clearly that's not necessarily Donald Trump's priority, but tax breaks and looser regulations around labor will benefit him regardless, even if some of the businesses that he runs, particularly Tesla, might have been more aligned with some of the policy priorities of the Democrats.
And really, Vittoria, we saw a big change, I think, in Elon Musk when he bought Twitter, right, in 2022. There was a real progression away from the Democrats at that point.
I think that was when it became something that people were very publicly aware of. Certainly when he took over the platform, particularly when he took over the platform saying, he wanted it with a sort of free speech absolutist lens. It was becoming clear at that point that he meant free speech in the context that a lot of conservatives mean free speech, which is, sort of unfettered opinions of often people that agree with them, but not necessarily protecting the speech of people who don't. Musk has said in interviews that he bought Twitter to, quote, fight the woke mind virus. He has espoused the great replacement theory, which is the idea that immigrants and people of color are replacing the white race. So I think there's the business case for Musk, and we would be naive to think that if Trump pulls off a victory, that we're not going to see Elon taking some kind of advisory role in a second Trump administration.
I will create a government efficiency commission tasked with conducting a complete financial and performance audit of the entire federal government and making recommendations for drastic reforms. We need to do it. And Elon, because he's not very busy, has agreed to head that task force. Be interesting if he has the time.
So, Vittoria, let's have a look now at what Musk is actually doing to help Trump get back into the White House. Let's look at the money side first. Elon actually set up a political committee known as a Super PAC to help Trump. So just explain that for me, because our audience probably doesn't know what a PAC is.
And that is so great and so healthy for you in Australia. Be glad you do not know what a PAC is. So a PAC is a political action committee, and that is a sort of third-party organization that people can put money into, actually unlimited amounts of money, because it's not subject to the same limitations on donations that donating directly to a campaign is. And you can funnel money into a super PAC, and then that super PAC can support certain candidates. And recently, actually, this is new this year, they can actually work on get out the vote measures for particular candidates. So that used to be something that campaigns themselves always had to coordinate, door knocking and making sure that people were getting out the vote for them. Musk has donated $75 million to the America PAC. It makes him one of Trump's biggest donors, and certainly his biggest donor in Silicon Valley.
And Vittoria, the big development is Elon Musk is actually now offering $1 million check each day to a registered voter.
And all you have to do is sign a petition in support of the Constitution. It's very straightforward. You don't even have to vote. You don't have to vote. You just have to sign a petition saying you believe in the Constitution, which if you already believe in the Constitution, you're just signing something you already believe, and you can win $1 million. That's awesome.
Yeah, well, obviously we haven't really seen anything like that.
You're most welcome.
The U.S. does have laws that prohibit any form of like payment for voting. It is illegal to financially incentivize someone to vote. And this is definitely a legal gray area. Law expert Rick Hasen has described this as clearly illegal because it is specifically targeted towards voters in swing states. So the fact that it is so focused on this particular demographic is part of what is raising a lot of eyebrows amongst legal scholars.
Yeah, it is a bit tricky, isn't it? Because the check goes to a voter who has actually signed a petition supporting the First and Second Amendment. And then I guess that petition helps Musk's PAC to actually target these voters, to go to their doors and say, you know, get out and vote for Donald Trump. So as you say, it's a kind of grey area.
Yeah, and Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, who was a shortlist for the VP ticket for Kamala Harris and is a Democrat, you know, has sort of said that he thinks law enforcement should take a look at this giveaway, kind of hinting at the fact that this may be something worth investigating.
When you start flowing this kind of money into politics, I think it raises serious questions that folks may want to take a look at.
Yeah, he was speaking on Meet the Press. There are a number of other people that are pretty concerned about this as well. I mean, it's like you're watching a game show or something.
Yeah, and you know, I think it's out of the bounds of how we're seeing elections run in this country. And I think Donald Trump has pushed that Overton window consistently every year. And now Elon Musk is pushing it even further.
And apart from that huge financial support, of course, and attending some rallies, Elon is also using Twitter, of course, to get the message out, even appearing in long, rambling interviews with the former president.
It'll be the most important election, and I think it'll end up being maybe the most important day in the history of our country, because if we don't win, I just feel so sorry for everybody.
No, I think we're at a fork in the road of destiny of civilization, and I think we need to take the right path, and I think you're the right path.
I really think we cannot underestimate how powerful it is that Musk owns Twitter, or X as it is now. Even before he purchased Twitter, Musk was a super user. He was one of the top 10 most followed people on the platform. So he has incredible power just in terms of the audience he already has. And he can, and frequently does, retweet right-wing talking points from people who are conspiracy theorists, who are white nationalists and or neo-Nazis. You know, so he has the power to amplify these talking points in a way that almost nobody else does.
Well, Victoria, with all his influence and money, if Trump loses, what happens to Musk then?
I mean, if Trump loses, Musk will still be a billionaire who owns a very influential social platform and several other companies. I personally think he'll be fine. But he has already sort of floated this idea that if Trump were to lose the election, that Kamala Harris would try and shut X down, or a Harris administration would come for him. I don't necessarily think that would happen, because we do have rule of law in this country. But I think even just floating that idea that somehow if Trump loses, Musk will be the victim of a Harris administration that is weaponizing the government, will mean that even if Trump loses and we do have a Harris administration, that any regulation targeted towards him or his companies can be framed in a way that makes it seem like political sabotage rather than possibly very reasonable regulation.
Vittoria Elliot is a reporter with Wired magazine. This episode was produced by Sydney Peed and Cara Jensen-McKinnon. Audio production by Sam Dunn. Our supervising producer is David Cody. I'm Sam Hawley. ABC News Daily will be back again tomorrow. Thanks for listening.